Okay, so we just discussed that for the summer library program that the incentive coupon order form will be out very, very soon. And we're going to talk more about summer library program in a few minutes, unless there is just the desire to jump into that right now. Or we can get warmed up with some of the announcements that I have. Well, we did not meet last month because libraries were closing for the ice storm. So I feel like I have a lot of things to just remind people of, or to tell you about. I just put the agenda in today's in the chat, so feel free to follow along. Also, feel free to add any notes to the notes document, which is item number 1D. You all can feel free to pop things in, and I'll add notes as we go along too and share those out, as well as the recording as soon as everything's ready. So I don't know if anybody has gone into the 2021 CCBC choices, but CCBC choices for the second year in a row is entirely online. And I've linked to it in today's agenda, and I will link to it again in the notes. It's a PDF, beautiful PDF. And there we go. I'm just going to pop those into the notes. And know that we have a couple of webinars coming up with the CCBC librarians. They are listed on the agenda. The first one is next week on the 31st of March, and that will be the webinar that Megan and Mary present about CCBC books for younger readers. And then the one following in the next week is on April 12th. Both of them are on Thursdays at 9 o'clock. And April 7th. April 7th is books for older kids and tweens. So know that those programs will also be recorded. If you're unable to participate live, we will have those as recordings that you'll be able to listen into later. And those are open for registration. Tell your friends that we have those programs coming up. I was thinking about a lot of the information I've had over the last couple of weeks that I wanted to share is about collection development, supporting collection development and new books. It's new publication season, and Booklist has had some amazing webinars over the last couple of months. And I wanted to draw your attention to two that are coming up next month and April, or this month and next month, April, and one next week. Random House Children's Books is just going to do a preview of some of the titles that they're most excited about publishing. And then in April, there is a homeschooling and upcoming series nonfiction webinar. I know that nonfiction and series is something that we've discussed, that we did discuss last year. So that's an opportunity for you to learn more about some series books that are being published. Certainly these webinars are sponsored and presented by publishers, so you're not going to get the full range of the newest books that are coming out, but you'll hear from some publishers about what they're excited about. I've also linked to the Booklist webinars, just the general homepage, because all of their archived webinars are available. And there were a couple of nice ones last month from a couple of other publishers and books about environmentalism that you all might want to take a look at. Any thoughts or questions? So we have lots of webinars and opportunities to learn about new books. The second topic on publisher previews and information is it is the beginning of 2022, and that means that I'm getting a bunch of books in from the publishers who send me review copies. So I have a brand new 2022 form. Um, the at the After the books are in the collection, just a second, I'm going to copy it and then send it out. I don't multitask very well when I'm speaking and typing. So for those of you who are new or who may not know, I get publishers' copies from some publishers, not all of them, but a couple of the big ones. So that means I get publisher preview copies from books like Penguin, which owns everything, Penguin and Simon and Schuster. And typically I'd bring these books to meetings, to other times when we're in person to hand out at those meetings, but we haven't really had a lot of those in the last 2 years. So I have a lot of books that need new homes, and we have always sent these out to libraries. So this year is no different than last year. If you want some copies of review books, please fill out the form. That's both in your agenda and in today's meeting notes, and in chat, and let me know what you want. I can't give you specific titles, but I can give you a broad, range. As I said, these are new books from 2021. They're all hardcover. They're not ARCs. They're not galleys. And you can use them to put into your collection. You can use them as a summer library program or other literacy program incentives. You can use them to give away. The only thing I ask is you don't put them in your friend's book sale, because these were free books sent to us. So fill out the form. I've got a lot of books, and I ate my Wheaties this morning, so I can start sending books out this afternoon if there's any response. Any questions about that? All right, thank you. A couple of books that I saw last month, and I've just listed them in agenda topic number 2, is Chicken of the Sea, which is a picture book. So I thought that these books might be fun to add to your summer library program displays or book lists. Chicken of the Sea, which is a picture book, really sweet and really funny. It's about chickens who are pirates. And it was a book that I enjoyed reading last month. 2 that are brand new, but that were highlighted during one of the book list webinars last month was Yoshi and the Ocean, as well as Swim Team. Those are both books from HarperCollins. A couple of, especially one of them is a new author. Swim Team looks especially good by Johnny Christmas. So Swim Team, Yoshi and the Ocean, and Chicken of the Sea might be worth your while reading some reviews or checking out. And then what are you all reading or excited about or have questions about in terms of new books or collection development in general? Bethany's getting up to grab something. I hope it's a book. Oh yes, Mary. Thank you. This year's Newbery award-winning book is an amazing one. Bethany, what you got? You know what? I cannot see it.
Okay. Yeah, it might be a little blurry. So this is Detective Mole.
Oh, okay.
And so it's a newer book. And I found it over in Columbus. The person who does the ordering over there found it. And I decided that I wanted to do a mystery story time for kids. And so I've been sort of looking around to find other mystery books, picture books specifically, that don't have a whole lot of text. And this was the one that kind of inspired it. And then I found a few others. The other one that I was thinking of was Undercover Ostrich. um, uh, so that's been kind of fun, but I like it because it's a good teaching moment where they're making predictions about the story. Is like, okay, we've got these clues. It's almost that Blues Clues type thing. Um, so I'm really excited to try this with the kids, and we'll see how it goes.
Thanks for recommending those two books. Was the Undercover Ostrich, was that the prediction stories, or was that both of them?
Uh, so the Undercover Ostrich just kind of goes with the mystery theme. That one doesn't necessarily have so much of a mystery to it, but at the same time, he's very incognito and sneaking around and that sort of thing. Is so you can ask, like, where do you think we'll see him next, and things like that.
Thank you. Ooh, Snow Angel, Sand Angel from Jess. Do you want to tell us what you like about that book?
Sure. Yeah, it has really wonderful illustrations, sort of thick lines, and I really liked how the the different bodies were drawn. The main family they're not like super skinny, which I really like that representation, and it was just really I felt like a lot of kids will relate to kind of like wanting, like, no matter where you live, kind of like really like idolizing somewhere else, like being like, oh, like, I live by the beach, but it would be so awesome to live by the mountains. Someday I'll live there. And then sort of coming to like both, appreciate your dream, but also like sort of appreciating where you live. I just thought it was a really wonderful story.
That's beautiful. I never knew how beautiful my hometown and my home region was until I moved away from it, so I can relate to that. Grace at Spring Green has mentioned Bathe the Cat, and Poco and the Drum are both titles that she's using in story time right now. Thank you. Feel free to pop in and say more about it if you'd like. Mary mentioned The Last Cronista. It's a real book that I'm excited about. I was really thrilled when it won the Newbery. Hey,
Yeah,
Grace.
it had caught my
Hello.
attention, Last Contessa, because I really like science fiction and multi-generational ships, and also it has a cult involved in there. And I was like, these are all adult Mary
Yeah.
interests. But it's interesting to see how they did that little bit older middle grade book. I highly recommend it. It was just really good and twisted in the way I didn't expect.
Yeah. Hi, Grace.
Hi. I don't know if you guys have gotten the chance to read Bathe the Cat yet, but it's truly wonderful. It's very funny. And then Coco and the Drum is kind of the same way. I got it in last week. And as I was reading it in the morning, I was just laughing out loud, and everybody was looking over, wondering what was going on. It's also the same, I think it's the same illustrator as the guy who does Adventure Time, which is fun.
That's how I felt about is it Chicken of the Sea? Chicken of the Sea. When I read it, it was hilarious and funny, and yeah, I needed it. My oldest kid, who just turned 14, has turned me on to the Hawthorne Legacy series. The first two books are out. Those are that's a series that I missed. So I'm glad that Ivy she suggested it to me, and it's kind of fun reading books with my middle schoolers and books that they recommend to me, and not ones that I'm always bringing home to them. And my sixth grader recommended a book that I bought last year and I'm starting it now, is This Book is Anti-Racist. which is the book that our friends in Monona have done some book discussions with that book. And so now I'm going to do a book club with my sixth grader. So lots of fun reading. You know what, I'll add those to our list too. Hawthorne Legacy and this book is anti-racist. Any other books that you're excited about? I will get a couple of book bites programs scheduled for April and May, so we can have some time to just talk about new books too. Those were fun programs that we had late last year, and I'll get those started up again too. In a related topic about books and collection development, I want to go to item number B, or yeah, item B, I guess it's not a number, is intellectual freedom has been on all of our minds. And especially here, intellectual freedom has taken a big chunk of my focus and attention over the last month. We really, here at South Central, I'm working with Tracy Miller, who is our administration consultant, and we are creating some intellectual freedom, some new or clarified services. Last week, we presented to the well, to all staff, but at the end of the library directors meeting, we had a presentation about intellectual freedom and the ways that we can support it, as well as considerations for intellectual freedom. I've always been the intellectual freedom contact here at South Central, and I still am. It's wonderful having my colleague Tracy here because with everything that's going on, we're getting a lot more questions for reviewing policies, for example, or asking about, what do I say? What can I do if a book is challenged or if materials are challenged in my library? So I've been talking through a lot of possible steps with directors, looking at policies, and just talking about, so what if this happens, how do I respond, or how do I help my library staff, library colleagues feel strong about supporting our collection and supporting our policies. So there's a lot of information about doing that in the archived webinar that I've linked to the agenda, but I want you to know that you can always contact me, especially when it comes to the interpersonal stuff. I can help you with policies, but I can also help you talk through some scenarios, talk through what can you say, talk about what the different roles of directors and staff members and boards are in a very personal way for you. That's something that I've done for a long time, and it's just kind of a reminder that I'm here for you, and Tracy Miller is also here for you. Should you have any questions, or should anybody on your staff have questions, and not only about challenges to specific materials, but book displays. With Pride Month coming up, we know last year there were a few questions about families, or questions about children's departments having pride books and books celebrating all families. So that's something that I've talked to a lot of libraries about, and that I'm happy to talk to you about too. Not only identifying books, I know you guys know the books, but um, how to go about creating really powerful and strong displays that are supportive of community members and of your library policies. And Murray has just told us that YSS is presenting a webinar on April 5th. Thank you for reminding us, Murray, on intellectual freedom from 2 to 3. It's free if you're a WLA member, or $25 if not. So I will put that info in the notes. Are you presenting with that webinar, Murray?
No, I'm not.
You're not. Okay.
Um, and I can't remember there's 3 presenters, and I think I want to say one of the presenters either from the New London or New Berlin library, because they had it wasn't like an official challenge.
Yeah.
But she's going to talk about the process they went through because of a pushback they got on a book. So, and then she's from the CCBC. I'm trying to think of her name. She's going to be one of the presenters too.
Probably Megan
Mm.
Schlesman.
You might be right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and we have the experts right here in the state with the CCBC being here. We are so fortunate that that's one of the places you can go to, that you can turn to if you're looking for reviews of materials. They will pull them for you and provide more information and provide information about what you can say and what you can do. They're good friends to all of us. And I know a lot of you have worked with the CCBC and the librarians, and maybe we're student workers at the CCBC here. The other thing, you know what, Marie, you reminded me, is WLA has an intellectual freedom, what are they called? Special interest group. And every month, for the last 2 months, they've had just open discussion meetings that are facilitated by Christina Gomez, who is at the Madison Public Library. And those have been really great. Not only do people informally discuss what's going on, but there's also always a topic of discussion. So I'll send information about that free discussion. They're usually on Monday mornings at 11 or something like that. So I will share that information in the meeting notes. I think, you know, there's going to be so much more coming, so many more webinars. We have a bunch planned for trustee training week. We're looking at more webinars for later on in the year. And if any of you are interested in presenting, or if you have topic ideas, let me know or let Jean know, and we'll get you on board. We'll get you on board. It was great I think it was at the end of January, early February, we sent out a survey to all library staff asking about what are your thoughts, concerns, worries about the recent intellectual freedom challenges nationwide. And what was really interesting is, well, this is, you know, no surprise that people want continuing education about it. They want to talk about it. They want to hear from the field, from people who have gone through some of these experiences. Also, what I really appreciated was participants, when asked, how comfortable do you feel providing, or how comfortable do you feel approaching a materials challenge? More people said, I'm comfortable. I can do it. I'm pretty comfortable. When asked, now think about your colleagues, how comfortable do you think your colleagues are? The overwhelming response was, I don't think my colleagues are very comfortable, and I'm concerned about them. So that tells me that we're a really compassionate staff. We're really compassionate for our colleagues, and we want all of us to do well. And I talk a little bit about that survey in the webinar, but that was very, very heartwarming for me. Okay. Anything else on intellectual freedom for now? As I said, please let me know if there are other ideas that you have specifically on topics for continuing education or for discussion about intellectual freedom. And let me know if you have topics that you'd like us to cover in other webinars and continuing education programs too, because we're going into the next topic. We're going into continuing education needs. So stop the presses. Yesterday, I spent a lot of time emailing back and forth with Kelsey Brogan, who is presenting a webinar for us on April 12th. April 12th is coming up. I know it's just a few weeks away, and we are still determining a time that works best for Kelsey. We offered either 11 a.m. our time or 1 p.m. our time, knowing that 1 o'clock time on Tuesdays works pretty well for people. Kelsey is the TikTok librarian that we have mentioned a few times. Her website is linked to the agenda. She is going to be talking about community building, using your collection, community building through libraries, promoting materials and collection development, and as well as programming. She does a lot of passive programming, a lot of informal programming, and that was really what I was excited about. So I asked her to kind of focus on that as a major topic, and then look at book displays and the virtual and online experiences too. She sounds really great. I'm really excited for this presentation. Of course, this will be a recorded webinar, and we're going to get registration up as soon as possible, maybe even in the next couple of days. And I'll send announcements out to Kids List when that is available. And we will be publicizing it because we do know it's coming up. We will record it, and it will be available for viewing after the webinar, the live webinar is over if you're unable to make the live program. Other announcements. Oh yeah, okay. So this is the big topic I wanted to give you the rest of the time to talk about, is summer library program. As I mentioned, the incentives will be available very, very soon. We're hoping we can do all of the same incentives as we have in the past. It looks like we're going to get most of them, but we're still waiting for a few confirmations, especially from the baseball teams. So know that those are the places that we're waiting for those confirmations from, and those are the big ticket items. So fingers crossed. Let's bring out your rabbit's feet, whatever it is that we need to have for good luck. So summer library program that SCLS has for as long as I've been here, which is almost 21 years, we have provided a catalog of free graphics materials that we will print for you for your library. There's, there's limits on the amounts, but it's a lot. That graphics catalog is linked to the agenda, and we're hoping to get your order forms that's also linked to the agenda back by this Friday, March 25th. So I'll send a few more reminders on Kids List and Teen Talk about that. The order form and the graphics catalog are linked here in the agenda. Once again, these are the materials that are available that Deb and I Deb creates them. She's our genius here at South Central. We pulled some items from the manual. There weren't as many this year. So some of the coloring sheets that Deb has provided, she's found or she's updated and tailored for our needs. So those are the free ones. If you have any ideas about specific graphics, publicity materials, items that you want for your library that are not in that order form or in that catalog, you're welcome to contact Deb and let her know what you're thinking about. And she will also help you design something, knowing that that will go towards your library's regular annual printing allotment. So the summer library program materials from South Central are a different offering. That's in addition to what we offer for your library's printing allotment. It's on top of it. So we're here for you to help you if you want to design a different type of flyer or a different type of book log. We can do that for you, but it will go towards your library's annual printing allotment. And it's never too early to contact Deb if you already have your performers picked out, or if you have your entire summer ready to go. If you want some flyers or brochures, you can send that information to her now and she can start getting getting those printed for you. Okay, I am looking at chat. I don't see anything about graphics. But yeah, let Deb know if you have any questions about graphics. So I really would like to turn the rest of the meeting over to you, to the discussion that you'd like to have, starting with summer library program, but knowing that we can go on and discuss other topics that are on your mind as well. I know some libraries have told me that they are not bringing in performers for the summer. And that is like completely understandable and fine. The other thing I forgot to tell you about is that every library has youth services or youth literacy grants money from South Central. That money is the same as it was last year. You can use that money toward any performers or toward any materials that will support your summer library program. Some libraries use them to purchase reading incentives from Upstart, or program materials from other places. You can use this money for any of your youth programming, especially your youth literacy programs throughout the year. We know a lot of libraries use them for the summer, and we encourage you to use them as soon as possible in the year so that we can get the money sent out to you and so that you have it and we're not scrambling at the end of the year. So I'll send more reminders about that too. So any
I-
questions? Oh, go ahead, Marie. Yep.
I have a question. We have two performers lined up already. I have David Landau and Radden D. Peterson, but two that I've been trying to track down, but there doesn't seem to be any action on their websites, and that's Duke Otherwise and also Miller and Mike. So I don't even know if they're doing anything this summer. And I know Duke Otherwise was just doing completely virtual stuff last year. He wasn't doing in-person stuff, but both of them have kind of fallen off the radar, like their email links don't work. So I don't know if any of you know what's going on with either of those performers.
And those are two performers who, have been really steady and who have been in the area. I could send a note out to Kids List and ask about them. If anybody else has heard, I can ask around other youth services consultants and other systems too. But wasn't Duke Otherwise? He was here, wasn't he, in Dane County, Catherine? Yes, you're nodding your head. Yeah.
But
Hi, Kelly.
can you because I looked in my emails and the last email I got him was from like 2020. So, and I thought I had got one recently, but I guess my memory's bad. But yeah, but I only have like two performers booked too, and I'm gonna keep it at that. And we have a lot of space issues at Oregon, except we're gonna get a new building hopefully in 2 years.
Yes.
But yeah, so I don't know. We're gonna keep a lot of things passive though. We're kind of on the fence of how much in-person programming between story times and a couple big performers. I think that's what we're keeping our in-person too.
Thanks for letting us know. I'll make sure that Kelsey, the presenter for next month's webinar, knows about that too. The passive programming. I was really excited when she described, she's a school librarian, but she has lots of passive programs at a high school for her students, for her kids to work on and do when they're in the library. Have others given thought to, oh, thanks, Catherine. Catherine just put in the email for Duke otherwise. And that
Yeah,
was from the 20th.
And I think that's the one I used and it got kicked back.
That's interesting. I'll ask Deb too, because she does so many flyers for people. She might have seen where these two performers have been recently, and we can do a little hunting or little mystery solving that way possibly too. What are others thinking about for special programs for the summer?
Well, here in Marshfield, and we've been doing this since December, is that it's in-house, but it's not staff directed. As we've been doing these specialty weeks, like next week is spring break here in Marshfield. So we're doing beach week for all the families who can't go away for spring break. And so we've set up like 5 different stations in the department, and where families and kids can go to those stations and do different things. And actually the 5 stations we're doing with the 5 early learning things, playing, writing, talking, singing, and I'm forgetting the 4th one. Is it play, or did I say play? But yeah, so they each have that component. And so we're planning on doing that throughout the year. So during the summer, we're just going to kind of make it a special week of our first week of our summer reading challenge. And then in July, we're going to have Shark Week. And then first week of August, we're going to do Harry Potter's birthday. His birthday falls on a Sunday this year, and we're not open on Sunday. So we're doing Harry Potter week, which we did last summer for a week, and everybody loved it. So we are, as a library, we've gotten the okay to do in-house programming starting June 1st, but we're working with our Park and Rec. And so we're doing story times at various parks like we did last summer. And one story time, Marshfield has a new swimming pool / water park. So we're gonna, because of the summer theme, we're doing one of our story times at the water park on a Friday afternoon. And so we're going to try to do like our story times and our performers outside, but if it rains, we'll do them inside. But probably starting in the fall, we'll probably start planning on doing everything inside again. But our kind of specialty weeks, we get a lot of foot traffic those weeks, and because the things are set up all day long for a week, you know, we don't have to worry about having a bunch of families in a confined space in a short period of time. They kind of come and go as they please. We have grab and go crafts at the desk that fit with the theme. So it's still encouraging foot traffic, but we're not in a confined space in a programming room and turning that into a hotspot.
Thank you. I'm one of those, I still wear my mask whenever I go out because I don't want to be around a lot of people. So I appreciate you doing that for your families, Marie. Hi, Catherine.
Hi. So I'm wanting to do most of our programs outside this year. And I would love to find a really good, some sort of shelter you can put up, like for shade. Has anybody found a really good one that you can take down quickly and put up quickly? No. Okay, well, let me know if you have. We've found problems with everyone that we've looked at. Thanks.
You, Catherine, you should ask like soccer families and sports families. They always are taking things up and down.
Oh, okay.
Good idea.
Yeah. And they have to be in some terrible weather, especially
Yeah.
soccer families.
Yeah. Well, we're worried about something that, we can't leave it up because of the possibility of, big winds coming up, that sort of thing. So I will, Kelly, thank you.
Catherine, the things that we've done the last 2 summers in working with the Park and Rec, we're trying to go to parks that already have like a built-in shelter, because usually it's has a roof over it. If it's raining really hard, you're still not really protected, because if the wind's blowing, you're going to get wet. But usually there's picnic tables underneath there. And I don't know if in your community you have anything like that, because the Park and Rec usually rents those out to the public during the summer. But because we're a public entity, they're letting us use the different parks and shelters for free. So.
Okay. We do have one that's actually right next to the library, but it's also right next to the swimming pool. And so it gets really loud because of all the noise from the pool. So that's the one drawback.
Find out when, because when we're doing ours at the water park this summer, it's during the half-hour lifeguard break where all the kids have to be out of the pool anyway. So we figured we're going to do ours during the lifeguard break. And so the kids will come and do the story time since they have to be out of the water anyway. And then and we'll be done by the time the pool opens up again.
We could call it Adult Swim.
There you go.
That is brilliant. As a former lifeguard, I wish the library would have done that in my little hometown, because the kids just hung out and like bugged us anyway when we were taking our break. They didn't bug us. I should be a little more professional. We didn't get a very big break. I love that idea, Murray. Oh my gosh. And Bethany, thanks for letting us know that the last activity on Duke's Facebook page was September of last year. So that's been a while. I usually get emails, I think, from him around this time of the year, just the publicity emails, and I haven't seen any either now that I think about it. Other programming or summer library program, other topics that anyone that you have on your mind?
Oh, well, one thing that Oregon has done is we partner with our community ed. And so we do 20 minutes of story time, and then the community ed instructors do 20 minutes of active play. And so they go it based on their theme. Like if we do sharks, they'll have something where they play a shark game. And so families really liked that. And it was great because we would do the story times outside if the weather was nice, but then we could go in the gym if the weather wasn't great. And we have a couple elementary schools, and community ed is based across the street from us. So it was, well, we finally got a nice wagon to take our stuff over, but last year we had pretty noisy wagon that everyone in town could hear us. But getting a good wagon is helpful for these outdoor things and traveling around. But that was really fun, and families really liked that. And we called it We Wiggle. Oh, no, We Read, We Wiggle, because we had story time first and then we wiggled after.
That's awesome. And if any of you want to spend your South Central literacy funds towards getting a new wagon, you can definitely do that. If you find some shelters that are easy to pop up and take back down, as Catherine was asking, you can use your South Central money for that type of thing too. And Kelly, I think that a loud wagon is just going to be like Pied Piper. You're just going to let people know that something's going on. They're going to hear that the library wagon is out and about.
Well, and it was funny too, because everything was outdoors last year, especially in the line dancing from the senior center was at the shelter as we walked past. So it was kind of a fun community moment of all the stuff going on in our little village.
It does sound very village-like. Very sweet. Okay. Well, if something else comes up that you'd like to talk about, let me know. I'll add it to next month's agenda, knowing that Zoom is so easy. If there's something that we have to pull together another meeting, we can do that should the need arise. At the end of the agenda, I have the upcoming youth services events that have open registration. So April 12th isn't on this agenda yet, but we'll be sending that out. But we have a lot of other things coming up. So in addition to the CCBC Shorts highlights that are coming up this month and next month, we also have some CCBC Shorts coming up. The Great Books webinars, as I mentioned, and we are looking for ideas for the fall. So if you have ideas for the fall, let us know. Murray's coming back. Otherwise, those are the topics that I was thinking of. Know that we'll be working on a lot of intellectual freedom projects. A separate library program is a priority, especially for me this week. I'll be on vacation next week. So if you need me, if you need anything, contact me this week, or next week, contact Jean. All right. Well, happy spring, everybody. It really looks like spring out there today, and it's a napping day. So I'm going to go home and it will be like the napping house. I'm going to put my PJs on and just have a lazy afternoon. And I hope all of you have a restful day and that you're doing well. I'll stop recording now.